Good evening, my friends. Today we're going to talk about OMAD for night shift workers. Most of you who follow this channel will remember that I was unemployed when I started OMAD. I had been laid off of a job and I was extremely depressed. I was at my heaviest weight ever. And 3 months later, I was the pick for an overnight manager position at a prestigious hotel in Austin. And I was so excited because I was the one who was going to succeed. And I had been doing OMAD 3 months by that time. And I was so excited because I was under 300 pounds right when I started. But then I was a little bit nervous because I said, am I going to thwart my progress? I'm going to have to change my eating window because I'm going to be working at nights. And since I was at least starting to become more health conscious, I said, what about my vitamin D? What about, my body? Is my health going to fail? Are my results going to go away? And I started to have all of these concerns and worries. And then when I switched my meal time, which was 11 a.m. through 2 p.m., which was my first OMAD meal time, to 6:30 to 10:30. So I just moved it to the evening. So one day came along and I had that one meal, and then I ate twice that day. I had the next one, 6:30 to 10:30. And my body, I remember feeling full because I had been so faithfully adjusted to eating between 11 and 2. But I figure, oh, well, come what may, at least I'm under 300 pounds. And I was still a little bit worrisome about how this would end up. I had the nervousness of taking on a new job and learning a new role and putting my managerial skills to the test and leading a hotel. So I was really excited. But I came to discover these were my best days. Not only did I increase my calorie intake, I went from 700 the first month of doing OMAD to 1100 calories for the last 2 months before the job started. And then finally I upped my calories from 14 to 1600. And I was losing weight as much or more than I ever had. So I realized that whatever working nights was actually a really good move. And I found some advantages that I'm going to quickly pass along here in this video. But I shout out to all of you who are working nights. I get a lot of first responders on this channel, a lot of RNs, a lot of trauma nurses, people who watch this channel. Put in the comments your struggles, your successes, anything you want to contribute, because little do you know, you have some good advantages to working nights that are OMAD, that are pro-OMAD. So number one, your metabolism and appetite are turned down. Now, first thing that people freak out about is, oh, well, my metabolism, your body, your circadian rhythm, and that's what people freak out about. They start saying, well, I'm not getting sunlight, so working nights is harmful to the body. And all of this stuff, folks, it's true, but it's not true. Your body is an adaptable machine, so it's going to adjust to everything you do. It's like all of these articles you see online that say you should wear special glasses at night when you read the computer because your brain turns on anti-sleep. It starts making day productive hormones if you view a computer screen at night. And some people say you should sleep with your computer in the other room. Folks, this is more self-improvement nonsense. It's not true. If you're used to checking your email at night or checking your email before bed, you're not going to disturb your sleep cycle once you get adjusted to it. It's no different than anything else that your body adjusts. So your metabolism's change to nights, your metabolism does slow down a little. That's offset by the fact that the benefit is you don't have as much hunger. So you see, with the negative comes the positive. We have a yin-yang situation here, as we always do in life. So your metabolism is turned down, and so is your hunger. Number two, you have and face less social pressures. This is powerful because think about, for those of you who have worked nights or do work nights, think about all of the struggles you have during the day. Everybody who's run a company or worked in any level of management knows the BS you face during the day. Oh, you've got to deal with accounting. You've got to deal with payroll. You've got to deal with HR. You've got to deal with the new morning crew getting their coffee and getting set. And then here come the floods of people coming in. And with that, you have all of these stray voices. Where do I go? Where's the reception? And then pretty soon you have those people that bring the donuts and bring the bagels and bring the spaghetti and bring the pizza for lunch. And now you're resisting. You're playing the social pressure resistance game. And you don't even know it after a while, because if you've been working days, you probably have a much harder time resisting temptation than at nights. The Chinese place down the road we used to love, and me and my coworkers used to go, we would stop going at 8 because the food was nasty after that, because it was closing, and the chefs weren't making new stuff. The Chinese sauce on there, the jalapeno chicken that I would love to get with that shrimp fried rice and the sweet and sour sauce, it tasted nasty. So we stopped doing it. We stopped going, and we said, hey, 6:30 to 10:30 is my window. I'm going to try to eat all my stuff by 7:30, and that became my new OMAD routine. So by the time I got to work, I was 2 hours into digesting my food. I had already had my shower. I was ready to work, and once I was started, I didn't have to think about food anymore. So I could deal with the heavier situations, but I had less social pressures. Yes, occasionally somebody would bring a cake or a bag of candy and lay it on my desk, or something like that would happen. But I can always do what we who are faithful to OMAD have done for years, is just save that for later. So less social pressures. And then finally, you have number 3. You are more reflective, and you are in alignment with your inner voice. This emanates from the second point. You have less social pressures because all of those voices in the day that are there, you're not facing, which means your inner voice, the one you should listen to, is there. How many of you have sat around before you're about to go to bed and thought about all your decisions throughout the day? How many of you get home from work, if you do work in the days, and you say, now that my work is done, I'm going to focus on cleaning out the garage, or I'm going to do a task? Well, the purpose of that is you're listening to your inner voice, regardless of whether you're getting up or you are going to sleep. It's that same mentality that is allowed to manifest. And believe it or not, folks, everything everybody tells you, especially those of you who are young need to listen to this, when people tell you things that are negative, it affects you. Even if you say, no, it doesn't bother me. It does bother you, because your brain keeps a count of all of the things that you hear and processes it, and it has a certain effect on you. Well, when you're facing your inner voice, you tend to be more reflective, because you have to, with the silence of everyone else comes the loudness of your soul. And this is why when people don't do well on nights, it's usually because of their own demons. They're fighting their own demons. And here's something you will notice about everybody who has to go to the bar, or has to have drinks, or has to do drugs. It's because they're afraid of stirring up the devils that are inside them. The silence is so loud for them. But if you are a person who is in alignment with yourself, like I was and was still becoming, I was maximizing my potential. Silence is great. The silence of the mind is powerful. When all of the horns are done honking, and the smog of vehicles, of waiting in traffic and trying to find the right podcast or music to listen to on the way to work, when you're done with all of that, you're finally living again. So for those of you on nights, you've really got it made. Not only did my losses increase, I think my biggest loss came a month into this place. I lost 3.4 pounds. I lost nearly 5 pounds in 1 week. And I don't know how I 3.6 pounds. Even this was after all the initial water weight. I was well into losing weight, but I had this hunger high, which really hit its peak level. So not only was I coming to work ready to work, I was ready to go at a high gear. And let's say at 7:30, I go stop at Taco Cabana and bring a 1,300 calorie taco plate and a sweet tea. Guess what? I'll put that down. I won't even feel bogged down. I won't feel tired. I'll be ready to work, and my mind will have time to transition back into its most productive zone. So I'm able to reflect. I'm able to occasionally step outside and look up at the moon and basically have kind of spiritual experience because of the silence that's offered. So the silence of the mind is a powerful thing, but let me conclude with this. Don't worry about the sun, about sunlight. You can get that after, like when the sun comes up, and then expose yourself to 15 minutes of sunlight and go to bed, or you can supplement if you're worried about it. But again, your body will adjust and make you more efficient at absorbing vitamin D. And even if you're still worried about the problem, you'd have to do it in all of your life, really, all of your working life, to ever have critically low vitamin D levels, which affect a lot of people who work in the days versus those who don't. So there's really not an uptick in anything. Listen to your inner voice. Really, all of this we're talking about, you being a better person, losing weight, you trying to find the most ideal job, all of this is really the same quest. It's really the same journey. What you're trying to do is maximize your best version. You're trying to get your best self, and the nights can help you do that. So for all of those of you, I salute you who are still doing nights. I salute you, and please don't think for a moment that you are left out or marginalized. You actually have an opportunity to have a great career, and when your kids are at school, for those of you who have kids, you can get them ready, send them to school, go to sleep, and when they're back, you're ready to go again. Again, silver linings in everything. More power to night people, and more power to your success if you are working the night shift. Cheers to you.